The voice in your head is not you. Alan Watts. Have you ever stopped and wondered, who is it that's speaking inside your mind? That quiet narrator who comments on everything you do. That stream of words, judgments, fears, and little rehearsed conversations. You might assume that voice is you. After all, it sounds like you. It knows your memories. It argues your opinions. But what if I told you that the voice in your head is not you at all? What if it's only a kind of echo, a reflection, a recording made by life itself, playing endlessly on loop? Most people spend their entire existence trapped within this invisible chatterbox. They wake up and immediately the monologue begins. What time is it? I'm late. I shouldn't have said that yesterday. What will they think of me? What if I fail? On and on it goes. The voice comments on every moment like a sports announcer that never sleeps. And yet we rarely question who it is that's speaking. We rarely notice that behind all that noise, there's something infinitely still. Something that has been watching quietly ever since the beginning. You see, modern life has trained us to live almost entirely in that mental space, to confuse thought with being. From the moment we're born, we are given names, roles, identities, and goals. We are taught to measure ourselves by performance, success, productivity, as though life were a competition against time itself. And so the inner voice becomes a taskmaster cracking the whip. Go faster, be better, don't mess up. It becomes our companion and our jailer. But what if you could simply step back? What if, for a single breath, you could see that the voice is not the speaker, but the sound of the ocean breaking on the shore of consciousness? Imagine, if you will, that your mind is an ocean. Thoughts are waves that rise, curl, and fall. Some are gentle ripples, others are great, crashing tides. They make noise, yes, they make movement, but the water itself remains untouched. The ocean doesn't become the waves, it allows them. It expresses them. It is both the form and the stillness beneath it. The voice in your head is just a wave, and you are the ocean. But notice what happens when we forget this. We begin to think of ourselves as the waves alone, tossed by the winds of fear and desire. I am angry. I am worried. I am not enough. These are only surface ripples, temporary motions. Beneath them, in the depths, there is no turbulence. There is no problem, there is only awareness, silent, vast, and untouched. And yet, how difficult it is to remember that, because the voice in the head speaks with such authority. It speaks as though it knows. It tells you what you should be doing, how you should appear, what others might be thinking. It plays both hero and villain. And we, hypnotized by its language, start to believe its stories. But let's look closely. Who is the one hearing this voice? If the voice is you, then who listens? Who notices its sound? The moment you ask this question, not as an intellectual trick, but as an actual living inquiry, something subtle begins to shift. The whole scene rearranges itself. You begin to sense the difference between the noise and the listener, between the movement and the space that holds it. This is the great joke of existence. You've never been lost. You've simply been listening too closely to the echo, mistaking it for the song. The mind loves to talk about control. It says, if I can just get my life in order, if I can just manage everything right, then I'll be free. But this control is a mirage. You cannot control what you fundamentally are. You don't control the beating of your heart. You don't command your lungs to draw in air or your stomach to digest your meal. These things happen of their own accord, effortlessly. And thought, too, happens of its own accord. You don't decide your next idea any more than you decide your next heartbeat. Thoughts arise spontaneously, like clouds forming in the sky. They drift, they dissolve, they return. The sky does not cling to them, nor does it push them away. And you, my friend, are that sky. But we've been conditioned to identify with the passing weather. I'm anxious, I'm excited, I'm bored. All perfectly human feelings. but none of them define you. The sky doesn't become the storm, the ocean doesn't become the wave, and consciousness doesn't become the thought that passes through it. Perhaps the trouble began when language arrived, when human beings learned to translate the wordless mystery of being into symbols and sounds. We mistook the map for the territory, the name for the thing itself. The word water is not wet. The thought love cannot embrace you. And the voice in your head that says me is not you. You see, life is not a problem to be solved. It's a song to be sung, a dance to be danced. And the more you try to control the rhythm, the more you trip over your own feet. The beauty lies in the surrender, in the willingness to be moved by something greater than your little story of I. Think of the forest. It doesn't have a plan. Trees grow toward the sun. Leaves fall when they must. The river finds its path without consulting a map. Everything unfolds according to an invisible intelligence far beyond words. And you, too, are part of that same intelligence. You are not the voice commenting on life. You are life, expressing itself as a commentary. Somewhere inside, there's a silence that has never been disturbed, even when the mind is loud, even when the inner critic is screaming. Beneath it all, there's stillness. You might have caught glimpses of it in small moments, watching the sunset when words fall away, listening to rain on the window, holding someone's hand in complete presence. In those moments, the voice pauses, and what remains is pure awareness, infinite, open, unconditioned. This is what you truly are. Not the thinker, not the thought, but the vastness in which both appear. But of course, the mind resists this realization. It says, if I stop identifying with thought, who will I be? What will happen to me? It fears its own silence, as though silence were death. But silence is not death. Silence is life before it takes shape. It is the womb from which all things arise. You've probably noticed that the voice in your head has a peculiar tendency. It loves to judge. It says, this is good, this is bad, this is right, this is wrong. It divides reality into opposites, as though existence could ever be neatly categorized. But reality is not split, it's whole. Day and night, birth and death, pleasure and pain. These are not enemies, but partners in the great dance. And when you stop arguing with life, when you stop demanding it be different than it is, something miraculous happens. You begin to hear the quiet music beneath the noise, the music of being. Imagine now that you're sitting by the sea. The waves are rolling in softly. The sky glows with evening light. The mind still chatters, yes. This is nice. I should do this more often. I wonder what time it is. But you let it be. You don't try to stop it. You simply watch. Slowly, the chatter fades into the background, like the hum of distant traffic. What stands out now is the rhythm of the ocean, the sound of the gulls, the taste of salt on your lips, the simplicity of this moment, untouched by commentary. And then you realize it was never the silence you needed to find. It was the one who was already listening. You see, meditation isn't about forcing the mind to shut up. That would just be another act of control. It's about seeing the voice for what it is, a sound, not a self, a motion of the ocean, not the ocean itself. Try this sometime. Sit quietly, wherever you are. Don't strive for anything. Don't attempt to be spiritual. Simply listen. Listen to the thoughts as you would listen to birds in the distance. They come, they go. Don't chase them. Don't hold them. Just notice that something, call it awareness, call it consciousness, is always there, observing. That awareness has no voice. It doesn't comment. It doesn't prefer. It just is. When you start living from that awareness, rather than from the voice, life begins to soften. You stop taking every thought as a command. The anxiety, the self-doubt, the constant narrative, they lose their grip. Not because you fought them, but because you finally saw through them. You realize you were never the character in the story. You were the space in which the story was being told. And perhaps that's the essence of awakening, not becoming something new, but remembering what you've always been. So what happens to the voice then? Does it disappear? Not really. It continues, just as waves continue to dance upon the sea. But you no longer mistake the voice for yourself. It becomes lighter, playful, sometimes even poetic. It speaks, but you listen from stillness. The old sages used to say that enlightenment isn't about having no thoughts. It is about no longer being owned by them. When the voice in your head says, "I can't do this," you smile gently because you know that's just a wave talking. When it says, "I'm afraid," you hold it tenderly, as the ocean holds the storm. Life becomes less about fixing and more about flowing. Less about controlling and more about dancing. The voice says, "I must become someone." But you, the real you, whisper softly back, "You already are." And so we come full circle, back to the beginning. The voice in your head is not you, it never was. It's a sound made by the universe in conversation with itself. A kind of divine whisper echoing through a hall of mirrors. You, the listener, are the silence in which the echo rings. And when you finally see that, life becomes astonishingly simple. You can laugh at the absurdities of the mind, forgive its noise, and rest in the peace that was here all along. The next time you hear that inner chatter, when it tells you what you should be, what you should fear, what you should fix, pause, smile. Listen not to the words, but to the space between them. That space is you. And in that space, you are free.